stop running Google ads until you have these conversion actions set up. Seriously, I'm going to walk you through exactly what they are and how to implement them. And as a bonus, at the end of this video, I'll show you exactly how to solve one of the most annoying problems media buyers have: how to track conversions without a thank you URL. I know these problems deeply because my company manages and audits Google ads for small businesses just like yourself every single day. We're not just talking about theory here. This is exactly what we do for our clients and our agency to generate and scale profitable returns. So let's jump in. Now, to get the algorithm working exactly how you want it, you need to feed it the correct data. So when you have a look, you should see conversions, conversion value, and cost per conversion as populated fields. If it doesn't exist, you've got a problem. Now, the first three core actions you want to set up, if we go into goals, conversions, summary, action 1, form submit, action 2, phone calls from websites, and action 3, call from call extension. Now, form submit is your bread and butter. It's when people click the ad, go to the website, and submit the contact form on your website, whether that's ask for a quote, get more information, or book your service. It's your primary method for people contacting your business. Now, the second one you want to set up is call tracking from your website. So when someone clicks an ad, goes to your website, and calls a number, to make sure you're optimizing towards things that drive total revenue, whether it's forms or calls. If you're not tracking calls, you might be losing valuable customer data or valuable conversions to keywords that people call from rather than fill out a form. So a prime example of this is emergency-based keywords. So if you're doing emergency plumbing, locksmith, or anything where someone's not going to wait to call you or wait to contact you, you want to be tracking phone calls. Lastly is call from call extension. So a call from call extension is when the ad shows up, there's a little phone number down the bottom of the ad, and that when someone clicks that, it, instead of going to the website, diverts them to calling you. So it's a little bit quicker, and it's used less frequently, but still used. As you can see in this account, last, say, 90 days, it's 5 out of 35 total phone calls. So small volume, but those 5 phone calls have an AOV of around $2.5 grand. So still significant revenue if you're not giving someone the option to call you easily. They're going to call someone else. When it comes to phone call tracking, you want to make sure this is set up properly. It should switch the number out to a tracking number, and then when they call that tracking number, it'll divert to your main line. If there's any concerns, as usual, drop a comment. We'll figure that out. Before I move on to the next point, a quick reminder: if you're just starting to scale your brand, book a free Google Ads audit in the link below so we can make sure your account is in top notch before you spend the extra money. Link in description. If you're doing an e-commerce campaign, you'll have a additional or a separate conversion action called purchases. Now, purchases should have 2 key distinctive things. One is the actual sale, so a sale count, so 1 sale, 2 sale, 3 sale. And the second distinct point is the purchase value. So what you want to check here is that you're getting conversions and you're getting conversion values. Now, quick tip here, as you can see, if you're using Google Analytics import GF4, so it'll look like this, you will be getting less conversion values. And we run them simultaneously when we were replacing the Google GF4 with the actual Google Ads conversion tracking. You can see it's marked as secondary, which means it doesn't come up as bidding and it doesn't affect your reporting. As you can see, it caught 20% more conversions, so just under 500 and just over 600, and extra 30 grand in conversion value in the last 90 days, which is significant, right? An extra 10,000 a month every single month that would have been misattributed. So with conversion value, you want to make sure, as I said, that it is dynamic. So you want to make sure that in the conversion settings, you're actually choosing use individual conversion values to make sure you're capturing each individual sale. So one sale, how much did that sale make? Was it a $10 t-shirt? Was it a $1,000 TV? Was it a $5,000 spa pool, right? The dollar value matters, and it matters significantly more as you increase your bidding strategies. So if you're using max conversions, getting as many sales as possible, that's going to optimize towards quantity or volume of sales. Maximize conversions value, or any sort of target ROAS strategy where it relies on the total value being populated, is going to break if you have bad tracking. And more importantly, it's going to steer it in the wrong direction if it's incorrect. So it's super critical to make sure that you have everything set up properly to make sure that you're feeding data correct information. So as a bonus, how to track conversions if you have no thank you page. So the key thing here is to get Google Tag Manager installed. Now, most tutorials will tell you just to track /thank you or /thanks. Now, when that doesn't exist, you want to use Google Tag Manager to pick up the element ID. So what that looks like is when you go into Tag Manager itself, which we'll do now. So when you go to Tag Manager, I've already got this set up, but what you want to do is you want to go into New Trigger and you want to find the element visibility. So you're going to go New Trigger, Element Visibility. Now, what element visibility is when something appears on the page. So if we go to website and we go book a free strategy session, we'll see this little pop-up comes up. And when we hit submit, you'll see a little green banner come up here. So this, you want to right click and inspect. And you'll see here that the element that we're looking at is this Fusion alert here. So you want to right click on it and copy CSS selector. If it has a extra thing here called ID, then you want to copy the ID. So you see here it says ID and then it has this name here. The ID is typically much more fixed and it doesn't move. Now if you don't have that, you choose CSS selector like we did. So again, inspect, go to the top layer, which is this one. Again, you'll see it be in the top layer because it will highlight it and then it will, go somewhere else. So you want to go right click, copy, CSS selector, over in Tag Manager. Now we don't have the ID, we have the CSS, and then you want to paste that in there. Now, the one thing you want to do is you want to change the setting down here to observe DOM changes. Now, what observe DOM changes is it checks the changes on the page in real time rather than when the initial page loads. And because our banner only appears when the website form is submitted, it only appears after the page is loaded. So always tick observe DOM, and then as a safety precaution, I leave it as once per page in case there is a repeating banner or some sort of repeating thing. So once you've got that, you want to change it to whatever name you want to call it. I always try and make it as clear as possible. Once you've got your trigger set up, you go back to Google Ads, create conversion action. Now, you want to click on conversion tag. If it says GA4 import or anything like that, if it says GA4, you don't want to choose this. You want to choose the Google Ads tag. Now, this ensures that you're using Google Ads tracking, not Google Analytics for import. If you remember the conversion values difference that we saw earlier, it's the same for lead generation. Google Analytics tags are always going to underreport Google Ads impacts due to changes in the attribution settings. Now, I won't go too far into this, but top level, Google Analytics is always going to underreport and Google Ads is always going to overreport. The difference is somewhere in the middle, in my opinion. But because Google Ads operates on more data, at any given point, it benefits you to give it as much data as possible. So I always recommend the Google Ads tag. Now, once you have that, you're going to go save and continue. You're going to choose a category. In this scenario, it'd be submitting lead form. And you want to go create conversion. Now, we're choosing the tag itself, not the Google GA4 import. And you want to choose manual code. Now, Once you've done that, you want to go down to conversion settings. You want to make sure it's primary because this is going to affect your bidding and this is going to say 1 conversion, 2 conversion, 3 conversion on your report. You want to give it an appropriate name. In which case, I'm going to call it YouTube test. Now, because it's a lead form for you can just stick with the same conversion value, and you want to give it an appropriate value. So ideally, you want to give it the average order value of your leads, which typically is going to be your average revenue per job divided by how many jobs you secure. So for example, if your average order is $1,500 and you get 3 orders out of every 10, you want to then go 1,500 divided by 10 times 3. Your average lead value is going to be 450. So you're going to put 450 in this box here. Now, your math is going to be different, but the important thing to note here is you want to put how much your leads are actually worth to you, rather than how much the average job is worth to you. If you're going to put in the average job, you're going to inflate your numbers because you're going to be saying that you're closing every job. And if you are, great, good for you, but most people don't. So put your numbers here. Leave this as 1 because when it's a lead, if they submit 5 leads, but it's the same person, it's only worth 1 lead to you. Whereas if it's a purchase, if they purchase 5 things from you, all 5 are valuable. So leave it at 1. Your click-through window, you want to either change it from 90 down to 30. 30 is your base, right? That's on average. It takes 30 days for the cookie to die, which means that if I click an ad on the 1st of August, I have until the 30th of August to convert or submit a form. Now, I might click on the ad, leave, Google later, leave, come back through some Facebook ad, leave, get an email, jump on and submit a form. As long as it's within this 30-day window, it will still count. So that is why I say Google Ads typically over reports, Google Analytics typically under reports, because the customer interaction these days is so complicated that every platform is going to be a bit more greedy than it typically should. So I say stick to 30 days unless you're in some sort of long sales cycle system like a B2B sort of service, software subscription, or something like that, where the customer has to be quite educated and do their own research before they buy. In which case you can put it to 90 days or a custom number. So I wish, again, max goes to 90. So you've sort of got these options here. But again, my default is 30. I leave this as is. View through and engage is for sort of display on YouTube. Essentially means they see your ad but don't click it, and then they go and convert elsewhere. So they click it, don't convert on the ad, but then go and convert through some other method, in which case the ad has some sort of influence on the buying decision, but not in totality. So we keep this relatively low to make sure that we're not getting overinflated metrics just because people are inherently seeing your ad and then buying through some other form of marketing. Attribution, I'll leave as is. It's relatively subjective. It's really personal preference. And enhanced conversions, we want to manage through Tag Manager. So click done, click save and continue, and you're going to get given a conversion ID and a conversion label. Now, once we have those two, we can put those in the Tag Manager. So you go over to Use Tag Manager, and you copy the conversion label, and you copy the conversion ID. Now, you want to give an appropriate name like Google Ads, conversion, form submit. Always make sure that it is named in a way that you'll understand and find it later. Lastly, you want to connect triggering through to the trigger that we set up earlier, which in our case is this element submit trigger. And once that's done and you click save, don't forget to publish your Google Tag Manager container, which is up here. And then this conversion action, once you click finish, should change from unverified or inactive to active after a couple of days once you start getting conversions. If you don't see it changing, you can always go and fill out a form yourself, and then it should change from inactive to something like no recent conversions. So as you can see here, this one's inactive. whereas this one is active, last activity is yesterday, last conversion is yesterday. So I hope you found it helpful. Leave a comment down below if anything's confusing, you want more clarity, or you want a bit more information on something that we covered. Now, having these 4 conversion actions set up is critical to the success of your campaign, and being able to accurately track a form submit without a thank you URL is going to really boost those conversion numbers and give you clean data you can trust. But just because we can measure it doesn't mean that the structure and the campaign setups are correct. If you want an expert team to step in, have a look at your campaigns for free, make sure that they're set up sound, they're working properly, there's no leaky holes that need to be plugged, so you can focus on just selling and providing a service, click the first link in the description below and book your free audit. But if you want to do it yourself and you want to know exactly how to set up your campaigns in 2026, watch this video right here, where I walk through exactly how I set up campaigns in 2026. I'll walk you through the process we use with our clients right now to structure the accounts properly. Go click that video and I'll see you over there.